So one of the biggest skepticisms about a libertarian society is that there'd be nobody to build the streets and the roads. Therefore, we need a government to set that up and coordinate that. Now, right away, that socialism is what is being called for there. Centrally planned street production, uh, funded through tax coercion, funded through theft. So, we need theft and slavery and stuff, because how are those roads going to get built? That is as reprehensible as saying we need slavery because who's going to pick the cotton? There are private ways of doing it. There are voluntary, moral ways of building roads and picking cotton. Already, there are roads in Indiana, there are roads in California that are privately owned. The Tokyo Expressway in Japan is privately owned. They operate for profit. And they work, and they have incentive to be efficient. If the road doesn't run smoothly, people will use a different road. There can be competition. Now, people that usually envision, how can you have 10 roads going to one location? That's the only way you could have competition. There's only one road going from point A to point B, so competition, there can't be competition there. But there's not just a road going from point A to point B. There's also a road going from point A to point C, point A to point D back to point C, and so on and so forth. There is a large network and patchwork of roads. Each of them can be privately owned. If one of them is operating poorly, if it's not very secure, not well patrolled, there's lots of crime, it's falling apart, then people are going to stay away from that road. People are going to move away. Businesses are going to stay away from that road, and they're going to go find other places that are more fitting. Paying for the streets and roads is usually the nightmare. People envision toll booths on every corner. No, and that's usually, they jump right from there to, okay, we need a government. The huge jump. Wow, yeah, boy, that escalated quickly. For goodness sakes, give it a second. You could have like what taxis have. You have that meter, and you could have scanners set up around the streets that pick up how far you go, how much you use the streets, and then at the end of the month you get a bill. You can have a sticker on your car window, and a camera can see it and see how many times you came through and used that road. And then you get a bill at the end of the month. Toll roads probably would exist. Yeah, there probably would be a system like that. Already, you go on many roads. You have like the Easy Pass kind of systems. You buy it, you put it on your car, and so you can just drive right through the toll. And it takes a little bit of them from your account. It's very simple. The market has solved much more difficult issues than how are we going to get the roads paid for? It's really not that difficult. And we can readily envision several systems of doing it. All that's really needed is for the market to work. We can have a network of roads. They would be safe, they'd be efficient, they would have the incentives needed to work well. It'd be great to have. Probably the major reason that we have a road system, government owns the roads, is because that enables them to move around very quickly, be able to patrol and surveil the population very easily. Can you imagine they would have to get a warrant every time they wanted to go down a street if they were privately owned? And of course, that would be very difficult for them. Historically, that's what it has been. That's why Rome had its system of roads, so it could move its troops very quickly. Eisenhower said he installed the national highway system, and he said for national security purposes to get troops around quickly. If the government doesn't own the streets and the roads, it makes it very difficult for them to do their job. So that's another good reason to privatize roads. It will really hurt the government. And that's always good. Thank you for watching.